Dr. Diehl was different because he listened to me.
To us, he's a miracle worker.
After the first adjustment that he did, it was a complete. My whole life had changed from that moment on.
And she might not be the active, happy kid she is now if we hadn't brought her in.
Every time I leave the office, I feel a million times better.
He's the only person who's ever helped me.
As a female bodybuilder and a personal trainer, I believe that you need to do everything possible to keep your body in its priority condition. Chiropractic care treats the body from the inside out and helps it maintain its optimal levels.
In chiropractic, we believe there's 5 factors of health. There's exercise, there's nutrition, proper sleep, a positive mental attitude, and also a sound nervous system. And a lot of patients come in because they want optimal health. They want their bodies to work at 100%. And that's one way that they can achieve that, is making sure that all the nerves are clear to every part of the body.
And it's amazing just the way that I've been able to progress physically and kind of reach my optimal physical levels since I've had chiropractic care.
I think the number one fear people have about chiropractic is the fear of the unknown. They haven't been exposed to chiropractic, or it hasn't been explained to them well. And in our office we cater to chickens. So when they come into our office, we examine them, we explain exactly what's wrong with them, and then we show them in detail how we would fix the problem, and they feel comfortable before we start that process. In our office, we don't prescribe drugs, we don't recommend surgery or do any other medical procedures. What we do is we look to the spine for nerve interference and try to remove that so the body can work better. When you break an arm or you cut your skin, it heals from within. Your body heals it. No doctor will heal that. And most people realize that. But that healing is controlled by the nervous system. And when the nerves work well, everything will function well. Your body performance, your balance. People come into this office with all sorts of conditions. They come in here with allergies, with severe headaches, with back pain, stomach problems, and chiropractic doesn't cure any of those. But what we do is remove the nerve interference so the body can work the way it was designed to work.
Well, I was in a car accident. I was suffering from extreme pain in my neck area. Didn't really understand the reasons why. I had seen a surgeon, and he had basically told me that I had a disc that was sitting on my spinal cord. So I had that removed about a year later, and still continued to have pain afterwards, and it still seemed to be extreme, more pain than what I had prior. After that, I came across a friend of mine that told me about chiropractic care, and I was really worried because I didn't think that I could go to a chiropractor after I had surgery. So I decided to come and see Dr. Diehl, and I felt tremendous relief after seeing him. My whole life had changed from that moment on. It was a drastic change for me. It was a wonderful adjustment for me.
I have fibromyalgia, and I also have a work-related back injury. It was recommended that I try chiropractic, and I found Dr. Diehl. I had come in for my back, and I told Dr. Diehl about the fibromyalgia, and he did an adjustment that helped. So I've come in with him, especially when I'm hurting really bad. I'll come in and he adjusts me, and I'm able to function through the pain. I've been able to sit for long enough to drive short distances. I couldn't sit at all before I came in. He's the only person who's ever helped me.
I had a motorcycle at the time, and I had laid it down, and the wheel caught my back leg, and I had trouble walking from it. So she suggested that I come see Dr. Diehl, and I did, and it was pretty dramatic. I thought I had injured myself pretty severely, and that it's going to be something I might have to live with for the rest of my life. And one adjustment, and I was able to walk, with no pain.
About 15 years ago, I was in a car accident and messed up my neck, and they gave me the 2 options. One was surgery or try an alternative, so I tried chiropractic. Dr. Diehl was different because he listened to me. I had a ligament that was damaged, and I wanted him to be very careful with that, and he did. And so he examined me thoroughly and found out where the problems lie.
When a person comes in for an examination, what we do is take a detailed history of what's happened in their past. And then when we do the physical exam, what we're looking for is nerve interference. And we do that several different ways. First, we get a range of motion and a posture analysis of the patient. Then we actually look at the skin and find out if there's an instrument I use for skin temperature difference. And then we check the motion of each joint to see where it's not moving correctly. We look for tenderness, we look for swelling, and we find the area that has a misalignment on the patient. After that, we look at the x-ray to see how that correlates with the exam findings. We think symptoms are good. We don't want our patients to have symptoms, but it's a signal, it's a body signal saying, hey, there's something wrong. And in chiropractic, we don't try to cover that signal up. We try to correct the cause of that signal. When we adjust someone, it's very specific. It's very low force. What we do is find out the exact angle that it's misplaced and do the exact opposite. A subluxation is a slight misalignment of one of the bones in your back. You have 24 moving vertebrae in your spine, and they all house and protect the spinal cord. And there's nerves that exit the spinal cord between the bones. And when these bones get misaligned, they irritate and obstruct nerve flow from the brain to the tissues and tissues to the brain. And what we do is we look for the nerve interference, try to remove that so the body works better.
I got home just as she was going to bed, but just before she was running around just like a normal kid, and went to sleep. And about 1:30 in the morning, I heard her crying in her room. Just as I went to walk in her room, she was trying to stand up and fell over. I got her up and we tried to walk around a little bit, and she couldn't walk. And I frantically, as I'm driving to her daycare, called Dr. Diehl's office and explained to them the situation, and he said, come right on in. She couldn't walk all that day and that night, and so he adjusted her. And the next morning, she had a little bit of a limp, and he said, bring her in. So we brought her in Saturday morning, did one more adjustment, and by that afternoon, she was able to walk. Monday was her birthday. We took her to Disneyland, and she was running around all over the place.
It's my goal to check spines as young as possible. Most people don't realize at the birth process, the twisting of the head during the birth process, the child learns to walk. It's falling on its caboose every 2 seconds. It learns to ride a bike. It falls out of trees. That's when the spinal problems start, and that's when they're easy to fix. I tell parents this: if your child falls out of a tree when they're 6, bring them in. They're easy to fix, and maybe 1 or 2 adjustments. But if you fall out of a tree when you're 6 years old and you come in when you're 36, 46, 56, now I'm dealing with 30, 40, 50 years of a problem. If we can catch it when they're young, it's very easy to fix.
Being a kid is a rather traumatic process. I mean, learning how to crawl, learning how to walk, standing up on your own, and the amount of time she falls over is pretty large. I mean, even just learning to crawl, she'd plow her neck into the ground, and so I figured that maybe there could be some damage caused by that. I brought her in, and lo and behold, I mean, there were a couple of subluxations, in her neck and the lower back, and we were very glad that we brought her in right when we did, because she might not be the active, happy kid she is now if we hadn't brought her in.
I get so much joy when patients come in with what they think is a complicated problem, and we adjust their spine, remove the nerve interference, and maybe they can't even walk. And a couple of adjustments, they're walking out of here and they're happy. I had one person come in with a walker, and we removed his nerve interference. He could walk. He gave me the walker. He said, I don't need this anymore. Well, what we've tried to do in our office is create an environment where it's relaxing. We have an awesome team here. They love the patients that come in here. We love them. It's like family here. It's just great to work alongside people that love people.